Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Middle Child, and now I'm doing Lambert House Documentary Spotlight. And I am so honored to have my first guest, Mr. Ronnie Williams from Lambert. And Ronnie's been around a long time. I don't know if he's a current or past resident. I'm not for sure, but we are going to find out. Welcome, Ronnie. How are you?
How you doing? How you doing, Brenda? How you doing?
I'm great. Easter Sunday. I know you was busy.
Yeah, very busy. I'm all right though. I've been doing this long enough. It's nothing surprising.
Ronnie has a barbershop, and we're gonna get into all of that because that's like amazing. It's a barbershop not too far from Lambert Houses. It's just you have an amazing story. Let me ask you something. We're doing this documentary because of the current condition of the Lambert Houses. They're currently tearing it down. Some people are displaced. It's all kind of stuff going on. And as I do more of these documentaries, I will learn more because I'm not really familiar with everything that's going on, but I have this platform so people can express how they feel. How do you feel about the current conditions of Lambert Houses?
Well, it's been some time that the conditions have been just like, I don't want to say depleting, but it wasn't the same. It was trending away from it. Mm-hmm. With everybody originally moving out and it seemed like the standards and traditions that we knew growing up kind of like was making its way out. It feels like, it's definitely different, it's not the Lambert, but nonetheless it's Lambert. So to see the buildings go is different though. It won't feel the same.
How was your experience in Lambert growing up as a child? I want to get the backstory so people can get a feel for how was Lambert when you grew up?
Listen, man, everybody's childhood began somewhere. Mine began there. My mom moved there in 73. I was only 3 years old. I went to CS6 when I went to school. For me, Lambert was just like, it was the only thing I really knew. All of my friends went to school from Lambert at CS6. But, when you reflect on your childhood, man, it was just, it was like, I feel like I had the best, coming outside and getting acquainted with people and understanding the pecking order outside, the older crowd from this crowd. Everybody had a crowd. It was so many people outside, but they were all split up into crowds that fit their personalities, and it was just a place for everybody. It wasn't, anybody wasn't really left out. If you wasn't like a popular guy or into sports and stuff, you had, other groups that just seemed like for you to be involved in. It felt like it was its own world. Anything outside of Lambert really didn't count. Nothing was as good as what Lambert had. Upstairs, downstairs apartments. It really felt like a community. Like I said, you come outside and you really get acclimated to what's going on, and you find a place for yourself and a group of people to hang with, and you just learned the Lambert way. So it was actually, I'm really happy that I grew up there, especially around the time that I did. I was I lived in 1026 my whole life, so that's the green building. And back then we didn't go by the numbers, we went by the color codes. So if you happen to live in another green building, then we went by the numbers.
Right.
Having buildings that were all connected and joined, that was something different. the childhood was just like, it was really good for me.
What do you think, I'm sorry, what do you think some of the components was that made it so good? Like, what was some of the things that really glued it together that made it good?
Well, for me, I would like to say, like, coming up, I was allowed to be me. I wasn't pressured so much to have to fit in. So those who were actually doing things that I wasn't doing would really hold me to that and not let me actually do things that was out of my character once they understood and learned me. So, you know, you had your bad guys, you had your, like, when I say bad guys, I'm just talking about guys that were into things that, you know, might be unlawful. Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't allow somebody like me to engage in that kind of activity because they actually knew my mom, they pretty much knew my style, or they were actually concerned with protecting me from getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So I had to work my way up, man. Come outside, you establish yourself, and then you have to be amongst your peers and establish yourself there. So, you know, I could remember coming outside and wanting to go on the basketball court, and I was told I wasn't ready. So then I went to the monkey bars, and I was told I wasn't ready there. And then I went to the barrels, and I was told I wasn't ready there. So I had to go all the way to the beginnings, which was the garbage can.
Wow.
And work my way from playing on the garbage can to the barrels, to the monkey bars, and then to the basketball court.
Wow.
And once I got there and I was accepted, I was official. And, you know, when I came outside, I was recognized, you know. If you wasn't ready, they didn't hesitate to tell you, you know. And it was kind of like a Lambert government, a system that didn't allow, you know, the young ones to really, you know, be out of line and unruly. They kept me in check. I got my ass whipped a few times for trying the older guys, you know, but I took it as lessons. I took it as, you know, love genuinely. So it was really good for me.
And what do you think happened? Like what was the break? What happened? Because Lambert is very different today than when we grew up. What do you think happened? What was the disconnect?
As Lambert, to my understanding, when I came up, you had some influential families damn near in every building, for sure, on every side, you know, and those families kind of like branched off and had, you know, people that understood how to govern your community. So there were people that wasn't the most liked, but they stood for making sure that shit was taken care of, and, you know, you don't do this and write on the buildings and hang out and be doing all this. And, you know, so once those people kind of moved out, you know, or you know, the culture kind of changed. You know, as new people moved in, replacing the elder statespeople, culture kind of changed. The influence on the drugs, that era, the drug era, definitely took a toll and led to a different, you know, a changing of the guard, so to speak. I watched it go from this solid community that protected itself to being infected by people outside that were able to come inside and kind of change the temperature. You know, you started seeing the drug activity step up, and, you know, then, you know, violence started becoming a part of the culture. And, you know, it kind of just changed. And by now, you know, a lot of people felt like during that era that they had to get out, you know, they had got above the community, you know. So most of those people left. Those that stuck around found it harder because they're getting older, you know what I mean? Found it harder to keep that grip on the community. And I'm not gonna front, it was more or less like the negative or the disruptive outnumbered the collection of people that wanted to keep it organized. So the influence kind of changed.
That's very, you know? How did you make it out? Like, how did you like avoid some of those things? Because now you are a business owner. You know, you have a business. How did you find your way to make it out, to not get caught up in some of the negative things?
I want to say that the reason why Lambert was a crown jewel was because it actually produced a lot of talent, a lot of influential people. You know, if it wasn't for Lambert, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be cutting hair. I wouldn't have a barbershop. I don't know what it would have been. I'm assuming I would have been successful because of how I was raised. But, you know, coming up in Lambert, you know, I watched people like Mr. Solomon, Cujo, Nat, Miss Nat Hall, Miss Pat's son. I watched those guys actually, you know, cut hair, and they were like the coolest people. Like, they had style, you know. And I just watched them. I didn't actually have an interest in cutting, but I knew that these were cool dudes, and it kind of felt like if you were cool, you could do certain things, you know. They kind of like gravitated towards me. They always looked out for me, and I kind of got that bug from them, along with just paying attention to detail. You know, I watched and observed, and, you know, they actually took me in, you know, instead of, they use this word hating now, and, you know, it's no more nurturing, you know what I mean? Like, they saw potential in me early, and patted me on the back and was like, yo, I see you, keep it up. And so I kept it up, and I just kept it up because in Lambert, the more things that you could do, you know, it's like adding a skill set or another tool to your toolbox. You know, the more respected you was. So with their influence and their guidance and then their approval, I was able to really get to a point where I was at their level and they accepted that. And I became what they were, but to another level. And that was the push that, you know, Lambert actually said, yo, you should go work in the shop. And cutting hair, being a barber was not something I actually wanted to do. I didn't go to school for it. I didn't go to school for business. I figured I'd get me a 9-to-5, make me some money. Sorry about that. Somebody tried to make me some money and take care of myself. And if I had a family, take care of my family. But they kept telling me, yo, you're good. You should go. You should go. You should go. And these were people that would have done that, but I kind of felt under the same umbrella that they did. It's just something we know how to do. You know, being from Lambert, we nice at what we do. But they didn't want to take it to that level. But they figured, no, you got to go to the next level. We embraced you, but we want to see you go to the next level. And so I tried it, and you know, I was cutting hair in the hallways, the laundromats, the bathrooms, plug up in the hallway, whatever floor. And, you know, from there, I came, you know, I worked my way, became an owner.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
not just off a drive alone, and not wanting to let the people that accepted me down, you know? Like, you know, like, I'm not saying I would have been a failure if I didn't own my own shop. That's different. You know, that's just like having an opportunity and taking advantage of it, not knowing if you will fail or succeed. But you got to try. You know, you got to try.
You got to try. And that's the thing that a lot of times people miss growing up in certain neighborhoods. The love. It was so much love. Like, you would see the love, especially like, you know, like if someone passed away, you would see how the love came out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we spoke about it. My cousin, he drowned in botanical gardens, and the love was phenomenal. You know what I mean? That's people don't talk about that enough. You know, if somebody passed away, you got this one coming. They bring in food. They come. They show when it's needed. It's shown.
It's still. I'm sorry. It's still people that carry that, but the attachment the feeling of family is a thing. Right. You know, when that happened with Michael, you know, we didn't understand death like that. We were kids, you know, right. And it was like, what? And you know, rest in peace to him. You know, this started happening to us, and you know, we rest in peace to Goody, Little Man, John, Jermaine, Pop. You know, we lost Cricket, Harry O, Bob. You know, it's so many. I have a ton of obituaries, and you know, I do it because I feel like the energy that was put into me couldn't be wasted. It drove me. You know, all these people were phenomenal. I knew that they had a future and that they would be doing something extraordinary, and they didn't make it. So it was like that propelled me to say, nah, even if I didn't have plans to be somebody that could do this, I just felt like, not because I just had plans of seeing these people really doing things that I would probably be back and be a fan of. So, you know, that's what kind of propelled us to kind of like take things a little serious, maybe a little earlier than we would have. And it was just a different culture in Lambert, seeing people like Miss Anderson, Miss Ernestine, Miss Francis, Arthur's mom. I remember Clay, the Powells. On your side, who I knew of over there, I knew everybody. Freddie, Irv, I mean, 997. I mean, I knew everybody that you had to know in that building. Lori, her brother Troy.
Yeah, God bless Troy. Yes.
Troy, yeah. You know, and these were people that was putting me on as a shorty. You know what I mean? I remember Troy. I remember what it was like coming outside as a young kid and they setting up speakers and music and tying the rope around the system and throwing jams. Yeah. You know? I remember in '77 when we had the blackout, and you know, everybody to come upstairs when the lights was off. You know, every child had to come upstairs when them lights came on.
That's right.
And the joints didn't come on. You know, so I took advantage of my ass.
Yeah, you remember that? Oh my God, I remember just getting from 997 because my mom was at work. And I don't know, I think my aunt was home and she lived in 1026. So just getting from there, and it was so dark. Oh my God, it was just such a scary time. I remember that. But you felt safe even traveling. It was a little scary because we never experienced all the lights going out. But I didn't feel afraid to travel from one building. I was with my older cousin, but you know, but that's what Lambert's about. And I know that you also was a part of starting Lambert Day. You know, Can you tell us a little bit about that?
And I forgot to mention Angel and Rob, named from mother. Yeah. But well, the Lambert situation was basically, you know, the generation that I grew up with wanting to do something because the tone was changing. We kind of separated, and we wasn't really, you know, the childhood that we had in Lambert, the teenage years, all that shit was just so, it was just so beneficial. It made its mark on us that we wanted to rekindle that. You know, so our generation, like my age group, Lamont, Jamal, Daryl, we got together and said, yo, we want to get the crew together. We want to get everybody together. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen each other. We don't hang out. And so, you know, we came together and word of mouth and passing the word around. And, you know, I don't think social media was really, it might have been. I don't know. First ever, it wasn't. Or at least I wasn't on it. Maybe there was Facebooks and stuff, but I wasn't on it. You know, word of mouth, you know, we got together, and I already had a reputation because I was throwing picnics in the park sponsored by my shop. Like I would just pay for food and pay for one of the DJs, the in-house Lambert DJs, to come set up and just throw a big ass cookout in the park for everybody. So we decided to take that energy and translate it over to a Lambert situation, and it really went off, so much that I remember Arthur walking into the park and said, yo, what's going on in here? What y'all niggas doing? And I was like, yo, we had a little, get together, it's like a little Lambert reunion for my age group. And, he looked around and he saw a lot of people, that he knew as children that he hadn't seen in a while. Mm-hmm. And, what ended up happening was, I think the next year, it wasn't like we planned on doing it again. Mm-hmm. But I think people took notice and said, this needs to be a real Lambert situation. Mm-hmm. And so I think Dion created a committee, and I think Pam, Miss Ernestine's daughter, mm-hmm. if I'm not mistaken, and a few others got together and they made it a Lambert situation. Okay. You know what I mean? So by the next time, I was seeing people like Chocolate, the Montgomerys. I was seeing people I hadn't seen in years, Mm-hmm. So they kind of took that energy and did the next level. Like I said, what I did with mm-hmm. the older guys gave me. Mm-hmm. And they made it a Lambert Day situation where I was just pretty much a reunion for our age group, but it went mm-hmm. off really big.
Right. You were the one to open the gate, to set the idea, and they just took it, they took it a little further. That alone is amazing. You are amazing, young man. You lost a child, and I can relate to that because I lost a child. And that situation, it seemed like it made you so strong. You know what I mean? Like that I remember very clearly. I wasn't in Lambert at that time, but I remember how people came together, and I remember how so many people honored her, and it was so much stuff on social media. It was just to me, when somebody dies, that's when you see the love. Sometimes, you do, and I saw it when your child passed away.
When I lost my daughter, I was kind of like in a different space mentally, of course, but I tapped into a strength that I didn't even know I had. I didn't even, it was more for me to try to process how, why, but I had understood early that this shit happens. Mm-hmm. I watched a lot of my friends. I watched Harriet lose her son Sean. I watched Miss Battles lose her grandson Jermaine. I watched Miss Lydia lose my brother Pop. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it was like that was different. So I don't know if that played a part, but going through things like that, traumatic that early, and it was so often, I don't know if it just made me numb, but the turnout that Lambert, that level of support and love that they showed me and Angela and my family, mm-hmm. I've never seen nothing like that before. Yeah. And so once again, that's something I will go to the grave with that appreciation, mm-hmm. which is why I would never hesitate to give back or to do what I do. You know what I mean? But that right there, they came out. They came out. It was cold as hell. They came out and they wouldn't let us do anything. Any money we needed, anything. It was there, Yeah.
People give the hood a bad rap. They give the innocent neighborhoods, but there's a lot of love. And that's why this platform is so great, because people are going to tell all kinds of stories. They're going to tell great stories, sad stories, that's life, but they're going to tell some great stories. And that love, that was everything. That to me, that just showed you who the people are in Lambert.
It was summertime. I was home from college on summer break, and my mom just wasn't with me, just laying up and not doing anything. She was like, yo, you got to go do something. And it just so happened that Dave had found out I could cut hair. A few of his older customers were coming to me, and he actually was like, yo, just come in, let me see what you could do. And I really didn't want to do it, so I would avoid it every time, because I felt like he's at a professional level. I do this shit like, I'm lower league, I ain't even trying to touch that, but he forced me one day. He put me on the spot to cut a guy's hair. And, I did it, and the guy was like, yo, is he gonna work here? He's nice, Dave. I like his cut better than yours. Like,
wow.
And so from then, I just started working there, thinking it wasn't gonna work. Even good, sometimes things don't play out. All that energy that I was exposed to, I never felt like I was in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could just stay the course and I'd be all right. Mm-hmm. And I did that, you know. So,
and you are
and honestly, you know, losing those people young kind of propelled us to do something with that energy, and that's when we created Young Hope. Me, Daryl, Miss Alice that used to work for the community room, Derek Owens, Miss Carter,
Rosemary, right?
Rosemary, yeah. They were very instrumental in helping us take the energy we had and putting it in a proper place for us to do something. We had rallies, we did like marches. We had the park where we had games and you know, they cooked out and everything. Mm-hmm. And then we started doing little tournaments in the hood and stuff, our own basketball tournaments and stuff. Wow. So, and then that propelled to New Hope. Once we kind of once we took it to the limit, then they developed New Hope, which was the older group that just that.
No. But Ronnie, where's your shop located?
1135 East Tremont. The barber shop right here.
Okay.
Come on, Jolo. That's my dog, my watch dog right there.
Oh, I see. That big dog.
And this is what I drive, and you know, I got kids, so we was never gonna forget. Not like it was possible to forget my daughter, but I always drive around everywhere I go, and I get compliments for this.
Oh yeah, because she. Listen, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. So, come on.
Thank you, Ronnie, for sharing that. That's amazing. Ronnie, I want to thank you so much for this interview. This is what we need for this documentary, because you set the table for us, you know, and you set the table. Now we know what to put on the table, you know. Yes. I just want to thank you for doing it twice.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you too.
And, doing it twice.
You know.
Is there anything you would say to a young person living in the inner city and is you know, looking for some hope? What would you say to them?
But I would just say, you know, believe in yourself and accept the love from the people, because it's not every, you know, it's not as affluent as it used to be, you know. So believe in yourself and I guess accept the love, you know. Don't turn it down. Trust the knowledge, to trust what was given to them by their parents. Stop letting the outside world influence you to the point that you don't even realize it's not you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're not even being you. You're really trying to be something that's not you. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm not giving up.
Right, so they shouldn't give up. So, Ronnie, I just want to thank you so much, and I'm in the night to saying, like, all blessings, and you continue to have success.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ronnie, for the interview.
Thank you, Brenda.